Hello there, this is Ron Wills, and I'm coming back at you again with yet another video. Today, I'm going to talk about the measure of a man. I am not who you think I am. If you love me for the wrong reasons. Females tell me they love me because I'm tall. They love when I stand over them and look down. They love when I lay them down and my height and body weight dominate them. Females tell me they love me because I'm pure black. They say they never have seen a black man so masculine, so pretty, so beautiful before. Females say they love my eyes. They're jet black too. Women claim they find a passion in them so forceful that they'll do anything I say. Females tell me they love my body. They beg me for a hug even when there's nothing between me and them. They want to be captured in my embrace and press their breast against my chest. Some females ask if they can just touch me. Some tremble when my hands touch them. They say they love the muscles in my arms. They surrender when I lift them up. They whine and moan in rapture. Some cry their pleasure. Some shake. Some pee. Some of them even say they love the way my teeth look in my mouth and how my feet look in my kicks. Females tell me they love the way I walk, like I'm soon to own the world. Most females say they love that I'm quiet. They shiver when I finally talk. All the women show me they love my guns. The fact that I walk with two of them at times. Even the ones who get scared fall in love with their fear of me. Then they come at me even harder. I can't lie. I enjoy the good times that some of these women offer me, but I don't take them to heart. I know they don't really even know me. All that shit they in love with is just my style and my looks, all window dressings. I know a man is his own beliefs, his own ideas, and actions. If you know me, you know what I believe. If you know what I believe, then you would understand how I think. You would understand my ideas and actions. Only then should you decide. Either you believe what I believe or you admire what I believe and want to get with those beliefs. If not, in the long run, we got nothing in common. I can't take you seriously. I gotta go. You got nothing that makes me want to stay. Alright, I didn't write that passage. I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. That's from a book by Sister Souljah called Midnight, A Gangster Love Story. And for those who are longtime fans of Sister Souljah, they'll recognize the character Midnight from her, really the book that started that whole urban literature thing, The Coldest Winter Ever. And, this actually, Midnight is one of my favorite literary characters because, well, I can actually relate to him in many ways. Now, why did I read that passage? Let me share some things. Let me come clean about some things with me. Even though I talk about game, how to deal with women and stuff. The reality is how I deal with women isn't the same way the majority of men deal with women. See, not too long I did a video on black women focusing too much on looks and swag. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, and I'm not saying this out of conceit. I can only say what I've been told, what I've heard, what people have come back to me with, and just from a lifetime of experience. The overwhelming majority of women that I've had sex with, that I've dated, they did so because they liked the way I looked. It's no ifs, ands, and buts. It's it wasn't like I approached a bunch of women because I'm actually introverted and I'm not the type who was going to approach a lot of women. I was always that quiet kid, stay to myself. So even to this day, even as a 51-year-old man, I have plenty of women who, stare. Now, that's not to say all women like my looks. There's been some that I was just alright. Alright. And for those, I got some game for them. I'll get them on a conversation. Got that mouthpiece. There's one thing in dealing with a bunch of women coming at you. You do learn pretty quickly how to talk to them. Now, and just one final thing about that, and it's kind of why I read that passage. And why I did talk about women focusing too much on looks and swag. These women didn't know me. They had no idea about me, but they would, make assumptions. They would project their fantasies onto me. And you know what? I ain't gonna lie, it was good. Shit, you get some fat butt woman or exotic looking woman or whatever coming on to you just because, she think you got pretty eyes. Shit, what you gonna do? Like, oh no, girl, leave me alone. Hell to the no. But for all of that, it's really irrelevant to who I was as a man. This is why I say it's irrelevant. I can't help good genetics. I really can't. And I'm not saying this out of conceit again. Daddy was an athlete and mommy was a former model, a paid model. Back in the day, back in the 50s, back when a black woman wasn't getting paid for shit. She wasn't international or anything, but she got paid on a local level to model. And so, that's had good genetics, but it's irrelevant. And this is why. The measure of a man isn't what his genetics are. That's just one part of him. That's not the measure. With you got a guy, they got the genetics to be 6'4", that gets him some attention, but that's not the measure of him. You get a man who's like 5'3". Many men, complain about height discrimination, but that is still not the measure of a man. The measure of a man is in that last paragraph that I read, that quote from Sister Soldier. That measure of a man is what his beliefs are, what his ideas are, what his actions are. Because I can't control my genetics, but I can control my actions. And even when women would step to me or show me attention and everything, I still had control over my belief system, how I would deal with them, over my code on how I would deal with them. And that's the most important thing, those ideas. See, I'm going to tell you something now. And this is especially for all the dudes that get too caught up in what they don't look like. If they not 6'4", if they don't have those pretty boy looks or those high cheekbones or piercing eyes and whatnot, or if they're a little bit overweight, that shit is only your genetics. You might could work on the weight, but you can only do so much with your facial bone structure. You can't really do much about your complexion. You can manage your hair, and you certainly can't really do anything about your height. But you can do something about your willpower. You can do something about your ambition. You can do something about about your code in life. Whether that code comes from, religion, martial arts, or something that you created just to make it through life. That is who you really are. It's your spirit. That's the most important. That's the measure of a man. Is his spirit. His spirit is the most important thing. Because it's his spirit that's going to make that man strive to live his dream. It's that spirit that's going to get him up in the morning and do the right thing, not just for himself, but for his family. It's his spirit, what he believes in, that he's going to make his mark on the world. Most men are not going to make the mark on the world based on just their physical thing, their looks. Like I said, I've had a lot of women tell me I look good. A lot. I mean, especially when I was younger and working out more. Got approached a few times to model. I actually worked for a modeling company, but that's another story. And, I've had women recently tell me how nice my eyes look. And they still, even now, even though I got gray in my hair and my beard, some women think, oh, well, he must just be prematurely gray or something because he doesn't look that old. Just had a woman recently thinking I was in my 30s. And you know what? That don't matter because that's not who I am. Yeah, if I be quiet, yeah, maybe I can have sex with her. But that's not the measure of a man. One of the things I've learned just through my experience is at the end of the day, that doesn't get you any further than anyone else. Because when I was in school, I still had to study. I didn't have any teachers giving me any free grades or anything. You know, when I'm on a job, I still got to perform that work. You know, maybe I get a little, depending on the job, get a little bit more attention. And to tell the truth, hey, it's helped me on some jobs, especially sales jobs. But I still had to be able to say the right thing in order to close that sale. And see, that's the thing to remember. See, I still had to have a skill. I still had to develop the ability to close a sale. You know, the lure is one thing. Or as the master teacher, Black Gnostic Speaks, would say, the trap is one thing. But I still had to close. I still had to develop the skill to read a person in order to know how to close a sale. And that's a spiritual thing. I had to develop that craft. I had to develop the speaking ability to know how to interact with different people. You know? Because when I used to vend, I used to be at places, if it was mostly women, I always walked away with my vending fee and extra money. But I still had to develop the ability to speak with them. You know, I still had to know when to, like, come with a real hard tone or then, come nice and smooth. But that was a spiritual thing. You know, I still, in order to present knowledge to y'all the way I do on these videos or in my books, I still had to study. You know, and that's an inner thing. That had nothing to do with my outer genetics. That had nothing to do with it. I had to sit there and study. I still had to read stuff. I still had to study. You know what? I still had to make mistakes in life. I still had to fall down. But it was the fortitude that got me back up. You know, the muscular body didn't just pop right up if I fell down. It didn't just pop up. I had the will to climb up higher, to pull myself up. Once I was in a hole, I still had the will to get up. And that's the measure of a man, ultimately. That's the measure. In my video, when I said black women focus too much on looks and swag, that's part of the reason. Because those looks don't make a man a man. That just makes him aesthetically pleasing. But that doesn't speak to whether or not he's going to take care of a child. That's not going to speak to whether or not if someone is disrespecting a woman, that man is going to protect you. That doesn't mean he's going to go out there and get a job. And look, let's be real. A lot of them don't. I mean, and, I even have a book for women, and I tell them, I say, look for a man with character and purpose. Because, shoot, the thing about looks, they'll fade. If my ass don't work out, I will put on weight. If I don't keep myself up, nah, young girls won't be looking at me the same way they do. But see, that's a mental thing to want to even keep myself up. See, at the end of the day, man, I'm going to get spiritual with y'all, regardless of your spiritual beliefs. And I don't mean any disrespect to anybody's spiritual beliefs when I say this. But man represents the spiritual aspect of God, the mental aspect. Our power is in our mind. Our womb is in our mind. We create with our minds. And that's the most important thing. That's the measure of a man, the way he can develop his mind in order to accomplish what he needs to accomplish in life. And I want y'all to think about that. All the intelligent, strong black men, and even men, even our brothers from other mothers who come on my videos, who watch my videos, know that this is what you're about. This is what it means to be a man. Where will your will take you? Where will your heart take you? That's what it means when they say heart. What kind of heart you got? Like if you, with boxers, they getting their asses whipped. They'll say, what kind of heart he got? Is he standing in there? Any sports? It's kind of important. That's why it's a lot of, an elder, powerful brother said to me, he said, you learn something from sports. It wasn't just about getting some participation trophies, but you learn how to develop that heart. You know how to stand in there. You learn how to fight battles, and that's not based on your physical talents. Oh yeah, some people do have some physical talents, but they still have to use it. I mean, using this example of pro football, how many dudes got muscular, powerful bodies, but they don't make the team, or they're a bust? Whereas you get some person who don't have the physical skills, they're like starting, like in football. You get a lot of football players. Nah, they ain't the strongest, they ain't the fastest. You know, they don't have the raw talent, but they in there. That's because it's not about their physical thing, but it's about their heart, it's about their mental thing. That's the measure of a man. And to bring it back around to that passage I read, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. You know, I mentioned most women that, you know, I dealt with like the way I look. I'm gonna be honest, I ain't even take it seriously. I just be like, thank you. It was like, hey, it worked, but I ain't get caught up into it. I really didn't. I really didn't get caught up into it like that. That's why I'll just let my beard grow out sometime, be wearing whatever. Because I know ultimately the women I'm going to respect, the women who are going to get my time, they're going to recognize not who I am on the outside, but the nature of my spirit, who I am as a man, because that's the one thing that's growing. That's the one thing that's powerful. You know, I can get injured or something. Like I said, something could happen. I couldn't work out, and that actually happened to me in the past. And I had put on a lot of weight because I couldn't work out. I had been playing like in this rec football league and had a double hamstring pull, so I couldn't run and work out. And that still didn't matter. In fact, a lot of women still came on to me. Why? It was the spirit, the measure of a man. And I want everybody to realize that. You know, there's some guys that get caught up because of that physical thing. Don't, fellas. You got 100% control over who you are as a man, because the true measure of a man is your spirit, not the physical shell. You are a spirit with a body, not the other way around. That's it for today. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.